Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to Woo Woo Wisdom.
Our
Okay.
heads are cut
I'm
off.
gonna
have to excuse me for just one moment. I'm gonna make a little adjustment.
Okay. We are without our beloved Rosalie today, so we're having to do our own.
How's that?
That's better. We're having to do our own moderation and setup and everything today. So just bear with us, but we will have it all set up, and we will get going in just a second. Okay.
Yep.
Looks good there. Looks good there.
Yep.
We are ready to go.
Okay.
Okay. And thus, you get a quick sneak peek into how our week has gone. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
It's energetically, it's been a hot mess.
It has been. So I see we have a viewer on. Hi, Dreamstar 88.
Hey, we love you.
If you have any friends that want to join us, please put the word out there, share that we're live.
Absolutely.
We didn't get any questions for this week, so we thought we would talk about just energetically like what we've had going on, because I'm sure there are other people who are experiencing the same things.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's more the Mercury retrograde, because this particular symptom that both Chandra and I have been experiencing has been on and off for me for a while, but more intense, I would say, in the last month.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 weeks for
Yeah.
sure, but yeah, for the last month. And it's a symptom that I've had for quite a while, and after the shamanic healing that I had done a few months ago, it got better for a while. And then it slowly kind of started to come back, and then here in the last month, it's been really, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And what both Brenda and I are experiencing is it's kind of like between the high heart chakra and the throat chakra, and it almost feels like you're gonna cry, like you think you might want to cry, and it's like that pulling feeling here, and almost like you're getting choked up.
Yeah, like a lump in your throat.
Exactly. And it happens a lot when I talk to spirit, and it happens a lot when I'm being triggered, like if I'm working and someone says something that probably wasn't meant in a criticizing way, but of course is how I take it, it comes up. So I have noticed that when we had our discussion the other day and I vocalized that I was angry about something or angry at someone, it's still there and it's still strong, but it is less
Yeah.
than it was before.
Yeah. I had this aha moment because I had gone walking with Rosalie. She's not with us today, but she and I had gone for a walk in the woods, and we came back to the house and we were having some tea and drawing some cards, and I pulled this card that said, you may be experiencing this feeling in your throat. It's unexpressed emotions. And I thought, what unexpressed emotions do I have? Because I feel like I'm pretty good with voicing my thoughts on things.
And you do it in a very caring and considerate way, I will say.
I try to speak to people the way that I would want to be talked to or approached. And so I feel like I'm pretty good at that. So what emotion is it that I'm not expressing because I feel like I am?
Right. I know.
And then I came to the realization that, and it was just like this bam, it hit me as I was typing to her. I was like, I'm pissed off at spirit. Because, here I am, we're doing this work, we're trying to communicate with spirit, we're trying to give messages to people that will help them on their path.
We're trying to get guidance for the podcast so we can take that to an even bigger and broader audience and place.
And also, with both of us, we want to work with spirit in order to help other people. So as a job. And so, it feels like every time that I have tried to launch anything or do anything with spiritual matters, like offer readings or whatever, it's just like a brick wall. And I don't understand why that keeps happening, because I feel like I'm doing it from a place of, wanting to help other people, and that's why I'm doing it. It's not to be like, get rich or, anything like that.
Or notoriety or...
Right.
And I feel like I want to do it from a place of, I feel most myself. Like, that feels like, I don't want to say good at it, but just like the channeling, the starting to talk and having things come out of my mouth that I didn't really intend to say, really know where they came from, that kind of thing feels really good. And when I say feels good, it's like that is the thing that brings me joy. Like that is a feeling of joy in my life.
Yeah.
That's when I feel the most like myself. That's when I feel the most connected. And so that's kind of like, and the thought of being able to use that feeling of joy and being connected to help other people just enhances the joy. And, you know, I've done a lot of reflection, like, is that a story I'm telling myself and it really is ego? You know, and I really don't think it is. I really don't think it is. Because, you know, I've even gone back, like, in other times in my life because, you know, that, Chandra, that feeling of being right is ego, you know, but it's, but when I say the thing, I don't know that I'm right. It's just like it feels like it needs to be said, so I say it. It could be right, it could not be, right? So, you know, I keep going round and round about trying to let go of the ego and trying to decide, is it ego, or is it really from, you know, a place of wanting to, if that's a talent, wanting to use that talent to help other people.
Right. Yeah, so you and I answer that. I feel like...
Oh, thank you.
I feel like for me, it's like, here I am, use me as a vessel because this is what I want to do. And then whenever you feel like you get like a brick wall, it's like, okay, Spirit, I'm here, I'm willing.
Right.
So is the time not right, or is there something else I should be doing? And it's really funny, I was driving over here to do the live today, and I saw a person on the side of the road begging for money, and I thought about, you know, it's cold here in North Carolina, and we have snow coming tonight, and I thought, you know, if I had gone to school to do XYZ, then I could be working with the homeless population and maybe making a difference there. And I heard this really soft voice in my head that was not me, and it said, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And it was like a feeling of peacefulness, but which is awesome. That's, you know, Spirit coming in to say, hey, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
And when you get those little nudges, you're grateful, but then you go right back into the human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of like, well, okay, I'm where I need to be, but what am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah. Yeah, because, okay, we're both Geminis. Let's just say that. We're both Geminis. And
Don't judge.
Think, yeah. I think both of us, we're a lot alike in a lot of ways. But we're very calm on the outside, and we seem like we're very together. But on the inside, there's a lot going on up here.
Mess, y'all.
Yeah, and a lot going on in here and here. And, you know, I might look really calm on the outside, but I might be like having anxiety or all thinking about what happened here that I should have done differently, or things that I can't change, getting worked up over that.
Or just random BS that has no value whatsoever, but but you can't get it out of your head for whatever reason. So, yeah. And when I got that text from you that said, I'm angry at Spirit, it was like a knife right here. And I was like, you know what? So am I, because being a channeler, it is, the messages that I get, it's very difficult. And I don't get a lot of messages, or I feel like I don't get a lot of messages in the moment. So my desire to like be a medium is, I guess I hinder or self-sabotage in that way. Maybe I don't trust Spirit enough to be able to give me the stuff in the moment, you know, as I would be doing a reading, because I've never experienced that. So I'm kind of like, I kind of get in that chicken or the egg, is like, do I wait until I'm getting stuff in the moment, and when will that ever come, and will it ever come? Or do I go ahead and jump in? And that's scary AF.
Yeah, it is.
Having never experienced it before, so just that kind of like cycle of wanting to, not knowing, should I trust, do I wait, what's the right thing? It's very frustrating, and it makes me angry. It's like, this is what I want to do. Why can't it be easy?
I know.
Why can't it just be easy? Dreamstar 88 says, I've been getting caught between my throat and heart too. Feeling of crying. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's it. So it is energetic. It is something in the collective right now. And I was thinking maybe we maybe pull some cards to get guidance on, you know, if it is energetic and it is in the collective, like,
how can we release it or help that energy to move?
Right, or guidance on what the shift is going to be, and you know, what we need to be
11:11. It is, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Nice.
But before we do that,
Yeah.
we did have one question on Facebook.
I can't see it.
Montana asks if we could do a reading for her. She'd be grateful for anything. So, Montana, go ahead and in the comments just ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Send us a question. We'll read it and we will do it after we pull these cards. So yeah,
Yeah.
just ask us a question, whatever you want us to, pull cards on or ask Spirit about. And 11 is my life path number. Mine too.
Oh, nice.
Love that. So just type a question in the comments and we'll do it after.
I'm going to use these work your light because that's what we need to be doing right now, working our light.
And I'm using the Soul's Journey deck by James Van Prague because I feel like what we're going through is
Part of our soul journey.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was looking through some old papers in my desk yesterday, and it was a workshop that I did, a meditation night somewhere back in 2012. And all the things that I was saying back then about what we were going through collectively, I feel like we're going through it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I felt like we were on the verge in 2012 of making some breakthrough. And I know we're still progressing, but I'm like,
Okay.
how can we still be in the same place?
So here's what I just heard.
Okay.
We're not in the same place.
Yeah. Are we circling up on the spiral?
It's a
and coming back
cycle.
to the lesson?
Yeah, it's a cycle. And we learned the lesson at the level we were then.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, you and I have talked some about your spiritual journey, and don't you think you are closer to spirit now than you were then? And by that I mean like you've connected more, you've been more thoughtful and mindful of spirit in your everyday life.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
Right.
So energetically and y'all can't make it up.
Calling. They just saying stuff, and it's just not right.
It's because essentially what we just got was a from spirit. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. But that was kind of like what I felt as you were talking is like it's when you went through the cycle in 2012, it was a level up, and now you're where you are now, and we're not repeating maybe the lesson, but repeating the cycle to level up. But I know from the human side and from the ego, it's like this again, that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So
Oh boy, I don't even know where to start.
I don't either. So, like I said, I asked the Soul's Journey deck. What are the lessons? What part of our soul journey is this about? And happiness. So I'm aware that being happy means that I am on the right path. And if you notice, that's a dolphin. So I feel like we're in our head too much. They're very, very intelligent, and we're trying to think our way through it. Oh God, y'all, I'm gonna cry. Rather than just feeling the joy of it. Yeah.
And if you look at the card, it's like
It's exactly
it's a
what we were
spiral
talking
and
about.
a cycle, going round and round with the same thing, different level.
And then I get the indecision. Use your intuition in all aspects of your life. Well, isn't that what we're just saying we want to do? Thank you very much.
And then I pulled Answer the Call. What is your soul calling you to do? And that's exactly what we're talking about. Or, we're being called to serve, and we want to serve, and we feel like we're being called to serve in a spiritual way. And then I pulled the initiation. This is a rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So it's like it feels like we're right there. And that saying, like right before the moment of making the breakthrough, that's when you want to give up the most. So maybe that's where a lot of us are, like Dreamstar 88 talking about having the same stuff. Maybe we're all kind of at that precipice of going to the next level, and it's like that feeling whenever you're like, but you're not there yet.
Well, and that's when the fear kicks in, because obviously that's going to be something different, and it's going to be unknown, or at least from where you're standing right now, it feels like it's going to be unknown. Maybe it'll feel like going home, but you don't know that from where you're standing, right?
Right.
And so that's when the fear kicks in of like, I say I want to walk through that door, but do I really want to walk through that door? So I want to ask the keepers of the light deck, like, who we can work with. And you know what? I ain't even going to ask it because it just popped into my head.
Okay.
Because the first thing that popped into my head is if I pull Kuan Yin, I'm just going to lay it down and I'm going to stop. Because that will be like the third time that she's come up this week. So
Kuan Yin.
Yeah, I just
Compassion.
I don't even need to ask because I already know the answer to that. Okay, so
I have a Kuan Yin statue in my bathroom.
Girl, no, you don't.
I do.
Okay. So the mediumship course that I'm taking, this was the last week, and one of the things that we did was, she was talking about, continuing to build the power, spirit circles, and practice. And if you don't have someone to give you a reading, she was saying, well, you can also connect with places and objects. And she's like, start trying to do remote viewing and start trying to do, and she's like, you can always text a friend and like tell them to look at something in their house and like try to, psychically
send
that to you. And, and you tune in and see what you get and then text them back and say, is it white? Is it smooth? Is it, whatever you get, ask them if that matches the thing. So she pulls up a sack and she's like, I have an object in this sack and I want you to tune into it. You know what it was?
Kuan Yin?
Statue of Kuan Yin.
Oh my gosh.
And of the 8 things that I wrote down, I didn't like see that it was a statue and it was blah blah blah, but it was like I felt like it was light in color and it was white. And she was like, "Is it smooth? Is it rough?" And I'm like, "Neither. It just has texture." But of course, being a statue, it had like pointed edges and smooth edges and rounded places, and so it was just like really a lot of the things that I wrote down were. And the thing is, okay. This is like the channeling thing I'm talking about. So here's my answer. Well, in a mediumship reading, if the person knew, like if Spirit was trying to give me a statue of Kuan Yin, and I was given all of these things, like, okay, I'm seeing something, I'm feeling like it's smooth, I'm feeling like it's very light in color, I feel like it's heavy but not super heavy, I feel like it's not necessarily plastic, but it's not wood, or and given these things, the person might, because Spirit would give it, their loved one would give it to them too. Oh, that's the statue of Kuan Yin that they used to keep, blah, blah, blah. Right? So I was getting it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's yeah, okay.
Communicating with Spirit can be really complicated.
Yeah.
Because you have to, it's like I've said before, it's like solving a puzzle. You get snippets of things and you have to figure out, sometimes you can get like a whole conversation or you can see everything perfectly, but usually it's like little pictures or a word, and then you've got to kind of put it together, ask for more details so you can put together the full picture.
Or continue to give more details so that your sitter or whoever you're reading for can put together the details, because sometimes it's, we would excuse me, we would put that through our filter and our own story and our own experience. And the experience that person had between them and their loved one would be something totally different. So they would need to put it together through their lens and the lens of the relationship that they had with that person, rather than us trying to figure out, because the meaning of those things would be something totally different. Could be something totally different for us than it would be for
that
person in that relationship. So
yeah,
we'll get back to that, but let's do this
Montana's
reading for Montana. She
something
asked
about her dad.
Can you connect to my dad by any chance? If it's not okay, anything.
I think we can definitely try to do that. Let's see if he wants to come in.
Oh, Montana, that is just precious. And thank you for saying that. And we appreciate that. She's like, and how can I donate? I'll accept donations. I will, when we finish the live, in this Facebook post, I will put our Patreon link. We do have a Patreon link, and we totally appreciate that, and that will help us with with the podcast and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Montana, I really appreciate that. That's very sweet of you.
So tuning into your dad's energy, and send any confirmation or anything if any of this makes sense to you as it comes through. But his energy is coming through initially as very like jovial and a lot of like laughter and smiling, and just like he feels like a really looks like a really happy-go-lucky kind of energy is what he's giving me. And the way that he's coming through to show me himself is kind of like, do you remember, I don't know which era this was, if it was like 70s, or I think it was kind of like 70s vibe. It's like they were like short sleeve sweaters with the collar and a couple buttons right here. Do you remember those sweaters?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of what he's showing me, like the 70s vibe. And like the hairstyle would have been that 70s vibe with a mustache.
So the image that I just got was like the TV show The Wonder Years.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that relates to like your relationship, if that was kind of like a family dynamic or whatever, but that was like the thing that just popped into my head.
Yeah, and I was also seeing, the young Sheldon, I don't know if you watched that show,
Yes.
but the dad on there, like the style
Right.
reminds me, that was what popped into my head.
She was born in 95.
He was born in 66. So he was a child of the 70s.
Well, and when spirit comes through, sometimes they come through in kind of like in that portion of their life where they were the most comfortable or the most confident, or
Yeah. So obviously he would not have been like dressed like that at that time. Well, he might have been as a kid, because he
Yeah.
would have been a kid at that time. There's a picture. I don't know if you have this picture or your mom has this picture, but there's a picture of him in one of those little sweater shirts. So see if you can find that, or if she has it.
and
Like he's sitting on a sofa. So it's not a school picture. It's like with
like a family
with a
picture.
family picture. Yeah, yeah.
And with that being said, I was asking the spirit animal deck, like if there were certain animals he was giving symbols. Yeah.
Yeah. His name is James Persons, and he actually popped up in my family tree. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Oh my God, I just got chills.
Huh.
But I was asking like what animals, if he was giving you signs or symbols as animals. And the first one that popped up was the wombat, which I know you're not seeing wombats, but what the wombat spirit symbolizes is be at home. So like what that's telling us is like to be to feel like we're in ourselves, be comfortable in our own skin. But the feeling that I got was that you are probably, when you're home, you're feeling him around you. And then I also pulled the crow spirit. So if you're seeing like blackbirds or crows, just know that that's his spirit, around you in that, in that moment. And it doesn't have to be like even seeing them like out in nature. It can be like, watching a TV show, and if you see one and that snags your attention, then that still could be him just letting you know that he's with you in that moment.
Yeah, and is there anyone in I don't know if this has to do with him, or this could be someone around him that could either be here or in spirit. I'm just going to tell you what he's showing me. It's a male, and he's walking with like a limp and using like a cane. And I don't know if one leg is a prosthetic or it's one side that is messed up on this person's body. But can you relate to that at all, to know if is that him? Was that him before he passed, or would there be somebody around him or on his side of the family? Because he's bringing me this to my attention, and I don't know if this is him or someone around him,
Right.
that might be in spirit as well.
Yeah, she says she's always at home, and she lives in their house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know about those pictures? Oh, it's your best friend. That's so sweet. He's showing me just like a succession of pictures of like, and this may just be memories of playing with you when you were a little girl and you sitting on his knee, and I can feel that connection, especially when you were, I mean, I'm sure your connection changed and grew, but he's showing me you as a little girl.
She says, my grandfather and I never met. Died in '85. Not sure if he had a limp. I never got to meet him. So yeah, she said that. Well, they were big picture takers, so that that makes sense that he would be showing you pictures.
Okay. I'll look whenever you have time and see if you can find that picture. Yeah, I think whoever is the person with the limp, he's bringing through somebody on his side of the family is what I'm getting. So I don't know if it would have been his father. It feels more like on the same
level.
Yeah, like brother, uncle, friend, somebody that would have been on his like same age level. Yeah. You might have to check that out later.
Yeah.
Whenever you can talk to your mom or something, but it feels like I'm getting diabetes, like leg loss from diabetes, that kind of thing.
So I asked if there was like a certain message that he would want to give to you, and the first card that popped out was blessed.
Oh.
So you know, that tells me that he is in a good place and happy where where he is, that he feels like he had a blessed life, but he also is feeling like, so do you, that he's looking down on you and is happy that you're blessed. And then I also pulled the card Chop Wood, but I pulled it in reverse. And this card, if you can see, it's like a broom and a bucket, so it's all about like doing the work. But it's like in reverse, it's kind of telling you, okay, it's time to get out of the chair. It's time to step out and start doing the things. So I think he's he's telling you that it's kind of time to chase some blessings and live your life. You said you stay at home a lot, so maybe he's wanting you to kind of get out and get on with something. I feel like, but the feeling that I got was that he's very proud. He watches over you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that whole like blessed feeling. But that it may be time to
Start doing
the next part of the journey and get started on something that you've been thinking about doing.
Yeah, he's very happy. He has very happy energy.
And we also had Anne ask, will me and my guy recover from the situation we're having at the moment and move forward together in the relationship?
Feels like a lot of right now.
Yeah. I'm getting the feeling that it's not a yes or no.
Right.
It's not a. It kind of feels like it's almost like it's up to the two of you, and kind of like how you decide to let it play out.
Yeah. If you can move on or not.
Yeah. And the first card that I pulled was gratitude. So it says, I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So I kind of feel like I know this is so much easier said than done, because when you're in a difficult patch and you're kind of having issues with someone that you love, it's never easy to be grateful. But if you can find something in this situation, in this time apart, if you're broken up or whatever, to be grateful for. And this card is also green, which is the color of the heart chakra. And so if you can send love to that, just think about something about them that you are grateful for, and send love to that feeling, that it could maybe help have a breakthrough.
I have a feeling about this, and I don't want to say it over to everybody about what's going on.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's really private and personal. So Anne, if you want to send a message, direct message.
Anne, if it would be okay if we direct message you later, could you just kind of put that in the comments, and we'll be glad to do that after, okay? I'm going to keep these over here so you remember.
Yeah, I think so.
So Anne, if that's okay, if we can send you a direct message, just let us know. Kylie says hi. Hi, Kylie. Thank you guys so much. Truly appreciate it. And she'll check the notifications for the link. Kylie, you can definitely have a reading. Just put your question in the comments, and we will.
Is she asking about love with that person?
Can I have a reading with?
Can I have a love reading? Don't understand.
Yeah, we're not understanding the last part of that question. Is that a person's name? You could let us know. We'll be glad to. Oh, I'm still shuffling that.
It is a person's name.
Okay.
All right. We can do that.
Yeah. So let's.
Oh. Well, the cards I'm pulling could go one of two ways. So maybe there's two possible outcomes. Yeah. I kind of think you already know. So I'm just going to show you the cards that I pulled first, and then I'm going to let Chandra go. So this travel card, but whenever I looked at this, it came up with this card, the decrease card. And I see doors closed. Mm-hmm. And with the decrease card, I see doors closed.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, maybe that person isn't ready.
Right.
That's what it feels like to me. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Don't cry, girl. It's okay.
Yeah, it's
a lot of fish out there in that sea.
That's right. I pulled the Soulmates card in reverse, and the Leg Up card in reverse. I mean, the feeling that this gives me is that there's kind of like some kind of power play or power struggle in the relationship going on, that maybe one person is always trying to have the upper hand, and things, and maybe taking the soulmate kind of thing. I don't want to say, and using it against someone.
Yeah.
Like, well, if we're really soulmates, why don't we? And
yeah.
I don't know if that's the case. And I'm not saying that's happening. I'm saying that's the feeling that these cards give me. And then I asked the Soul's Journey deck, like, what aspect of it would you need to focus on? And it came up, patience. I accept everything that happens in divine order. So it's kind of like kind of letting go of the expectation of how it's going to resolve, and just kind of letting it play out on its own, but seeing things, for what they are versus what you want them to be.
Yeah.
And just kind of like not necessarily making a decision of like, I have to do this or I have to do that, but kind of like just being patient, let it play out, but with eyes wide open kind of thing.
Yeah, and personally, I don't know if there is any one soulmate. I think you can have multiple ones, and they can be romantic relationships, or they can be, friendships, or people that you work with and create something together. So, and I think a lot of times too, whenever we're in a karmic relationship, we feel that intense feeling, and it could be linked to a past life or a lesson that we need to learn. So, if this person is not in contact with you right now, just let it sit, let it ride, and have patience.
Right.
And see what lesson there is in that relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, in this card, stop overthinking. Oh, don't we all do that?
Well, yeah, that's it's human nature, and like we said, it's so much. That's why these relationship readings are so hard, because it's so easy for us to sit here and give advice, and a lot of the stuff is so much easier said than done. But it's but again, that's kind of one of the things that we take so seriously about this, is because we know this is a responsibility that we have. Like, if we're going to sit here and do readings and we're going to try to give give people messages, then sometimes it has to be tough love, and we just have to report what we get. Like, we're not trying to give advice, because all of you are free moral agents, and
right.
And we're not trying to tell you what to do. This is just the impressions that Spirit is giving to us, and we've made the agreement that we're going to pass them on. So is he a twin flame?
I don't get that feeling. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to be straight with you. Not feeling it.
No. I feel like I do when you say
karmic relationship.
Yeah, I feel like there's I just heard string. So maybe there's a chord there that you need to learn something from. But I really feel like if you will just keep your eyes open and see things for what they are, that the kind of like the true nature of the relationship will show itself. And that's just the thing. Like, even when relationships aren't maybe necessarily going well or going exactly the way we want to, the value, like when you get to the other side of it and you've learned the lesson and the value that has come out of that. And I'll give the perfect example. My first husband, he was someone that I was just deathly in love with in high school. We both went to separate colleges, stayed best friends. We would talk every week. When I came home from college, he was like, oh, now I realize what I lost and blah, blah, blah. And so, not long after I came back from college, we got married. And we were married for 2 years before I realized this is not how I want to live the rest of my life. And, even though I had to go through a marriage and go through a divorce, which is gut-wrenching, but, on the other side of that, I learned so much about who I was, what I didn't want, the kind of life I didn't want to live. And so, again, while I was going through it, it wasn't, it wasn't pleasant. But now, like, I can look back and see so much that I gained from having that. Just, if 2 years was all I had to invest to learn all those lessons, it was time well spent.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of feeling. So, and I know that was a karmic relationship, because you don't learn that many lessons that quick without there being a greater purpose to it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, Kali says. You're very, very welcome. Yeah. I hope it, if it even wasn't necessarily what you wanted to hear, at least it gave you some insight and, some sense of peace about how to move forward. So that's kind of what we're here for. We haven't gotten any more questions, but do you feel like we did the whole like energetic question justice, or do you feel like there's another question that we need to maybe get guidance on in that avenue? I'm feeling like there's something else, and I don't know the question to ask. That's why I'm asking. I'm asking you.
Well,
I didn't know if you felt like there was another piece to it that we needed to.
Well, one thing we had talked about with like how to release this, how to release that feeling,
Right.
And I'm not sure. I know I haven't got any good direction or insight from it from Spirit. Like right now, it's not bothering me at all.
Right.
Is yours?
It's in the background, but it's not
It's not prevalent.
prevalent. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, toning, if anybody else is having this issue, doing some toning work, there's probably YouTube videos you could look up, because I haven't got any direct guidance. I don't know if it's something that just has to work its way through. There's not going to be a magic thing that you do that's going to make it all better. But it feels like, something to move energy out of screaming,
I'm feeling like
singing, I don't know.
I'm feeling like there's something that I need to say. Like there's something that I'm either not admitting to someone else or not saying to myself, or I feel like that's the feeling I get.
Is that message just for us?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So only because we're sitting here seemingly feeling sorry for ourselves and what we're going through, but in a way that is like you have to feel the things to move through the things.
Yep.
And this is what we're feeling right now, and we felt like maybe there were others of you out there that were as well, so that's why we wanted to kind of be vulnerable and share it. And that's why I did the tough love cards at the end. And this one that I pulled is you're talented and amazing. The world needs your power. Use your voice. Don't just use it for dumb S. And then the second card was F fear.
It will lie to your face. So Kylie, I want to say I'm sorry that you feel sad, but I understand too. I was in a relationship with someone before my current relationship that I was so in love with him, and there was no reason why, because it wasn't great, and there was nothing about the relationship that was satisfying, and I feel like it was a karmic relationship for sure, and I would feel that deep sadness in my chest, like,
because with those karmic things, everything is intense. Like,
yeah,
the sads are super low and the highs are super high.
Yeah, but it's also not sustainable. Like a relationship that is going to make you feel like that, if a person is going to make you feel that sad, that's not healthy. So, do you, girl. Don't worry about him.
Right.
If he is a twin flame or somebody who's supposed to be for you, then they would be there for you.
Yeah.
Not shutting you out in the cold.
Right. And, sometimes...
And blessings on their journey.
Right. And I think in a lot of those situations, it comes down to communication. So, just be cognizant of when you tell them how you feel about things. Are they willing to listen, or do they try to turn that back around so that they don't feel like they're the ones causing you to feel that way? Because nobody can cause you to feel any certain way. You allow the feelings to come up. Like, someone can say something mean to you, and it can hurt. But you can decide, am I going to take that to heart and let that be my story, or am I going to say, well, that's your opinion and I appreciate that, but that's not something I'm going to choose to believe. Like, we have the choice whether to internalize or not internalize. They don't have the power to make us feel a certain way. We can make the choice how we're going to feel about that. So, just kind of like we said, keep an open mind, keep open ears, and just kind of like watch. If you try to give them communication to try to work through whatever's going on, and if they're not receptive to that and reciprocate that, then that's an answer in and of itself, kind of.
And here's an active activity you can do.
Oh, goody.
Sit down with a piece of paper and write a pros and cons list, and write the things that you like about him and the things that you don't like about him, like the fact that he's making you sad right now and that you think he has someone else. Well, if you feel that in your gut, it's probably true. Mm-hmm. So, make out a list, because that will make you feel better too, to see the things that maybe he does that is hurtful to you, or it doesn't make you feel good.
And when you just said, if you feel that in your gut, then it's probably true. here's what popped into my mind. It was a relationship that I had, and this was a hard lesson for me, is that sometimes the other person that they do have another person, but sometimes the other person that they have is themselves.
That's true.
That they love themselves more than they're ever going to love another person, and you're never going to measure up to, to the way they feel about themselves. And I'm not necessarily, and the person that was in my life wasn't egocentric. It wasn't a macho kind of thing. It was just, if I want to do this today, I'm going to go do this today. Oh, you need me to help you with that? Well, I'm sorry, because I want to do this, and that's what I'm going to do. When we were together, and what they wanted was to be together with me, it was great. It was wonderful. It was very caring. It was very nurturing. But it wasn't until they decided that that's what they wanted to do at that moment. If they wanted to be somewhere else or doing something else, then that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there, that sometimes the other person, if you feel like they have someone else, they may do, but it may be themselves. It may just be that they are more, I don't want to say self-centered, but they care more about their own feelings and their own needs
agenda
than they do the other person. So just putting that out there. That was a tough one for me to come to grips with too. So
hang in there, girl.
Yeah,
it'll be all right.
It all
Takes time.
And we talk about religion quite often, but and how we recovered. But one of the things that does come to my mind a lot, and that I do kind of believe and enjoy from my time in organized religion was, it didn't come to stay, it came to pass. Everything comes to pass. Everything has a season, and so it's even when we feel those like super lows and very sad, it will pass. It will move on. It's only a season in our lives when we look back on it. So that does kind of help me.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
All right.
Guys.
I think that's it.
That was a really good one. Thank you guys for being so involved and interactive. We really love that. We love doing these readings for you guys, and that was a lot of fun. I hope we've helped. I hope we've given some guidance that you can take with you, and that was of some help. That's what we want to do. All right, guys. We will see you next week.
Yes, and we had a new episode on our podcast that
dropped yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Friendship.
Yeah. And we talk about. I wasn't there for that episode, so I need to go back and listen to it. But talking about like how the friendships that we have in our little community kind of evolved. So it's I'm sure it would be very sweet.
It's fun.
Very sweet episode. Yeah. So take a listen. If you listen on Apple, review us. It helps. Helps us reach more people. So
yeah,
we appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
And then hit end now, and I'll share it. There we go.